Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in again to my YouTube channel. This week I've got the picks for week 7 of the 2021-2022 college football season. Before we get to that though, please be sure to like this video and share it with everyone you know, subscribe to my channel, and turn on those notifications so you'll be alerted to when new videos drop here on my YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's get to the picks. Let's revisit what happened last week. I went 14-3 overall, with the most surprising loss being the Alabama Crimson Tide going on the road and losing at Texas A&M. After I said in my picks video last week, well, I'm not going to pick against Alabama. Nick Saban probably getting this whole season. Just so frustrating. I am 96-26 overall for the season, therefore, but perhaps more importantly and more excitingly, I went 4-0 in my top 25 picks last week, which gets me to 15-5 overall for top 25 picks this season, and I went 1-0 in my top 10 picks, getting Iowa over Penn State at home, which means I'm 5-0 in my top 10 picks this season, which is pretty dang good. So the best and biggest games, I'm making my best picks. Once again, I didn't have a lot of time to do research for this week's picks, so I'm going off gut feeling and eye tests for a number of these. Some of them are pretty easy, so let's dive into this and see what we've got. The new number 1 team in the nation, the Georgia Bulldogs, they are home against the number 11 ranked Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky has a good team this year. The strength of their offense is that they run the ball. Unfortunately for them, the strength of Georgia's defense is that they don't let anyone run the ball. So this pick is actually relatively easy. I think Kentucky's a nice team. I think they're good. They're kind of a darling of the SEC this year because nobody really had picked Kentucky to be sitting here at, what are they now? They're 6-0. I don't think anyone had picked Kentucky to be 6-0 at this point in the season, but yet here they are. But their undefeated season ends this week. They're going to go on the road. They're going to get beat by the Georgia Bulldogs. Go with the number 1 team in the nation. The new number 2, Iowa, which, let's pause for a second and once again give a shout out to the Big Ten on this. Number 2, Iowa. Number 5, Ohio State. Number 6, Ohio State, excuse me. Number 7, Penn State. Number 8, Michigan. Number 10, Michigan State. 5 teams in the top 10 of week 7. 5 teams in the top 10. The ACC, 0 teams in the top 10. The Big 12, 1 team in the top 10, Oklahoma. The Pac-12, 1 team in the top 10, Oregon. The American Athletic Conference, 1 team in the top 10, Cincinnati. The SEC, the vaunted SEC that everybody says and still tells me is the best conference in the nation, 2 teams in the top 10 this week. Maybe we're starting to move into a period where we're giving the SEC a bit too much benefit of the doubt because of what they did in the past and not recognizing that maybe from top to bottom, the conference isn't as strong as we had once thought. But I digress. The number 2 team in the nation, the Iowa Hawkeyes, they are home once again against Purdue. The Purdue Boilermakers aren't that good, so go with the Hawkeyes. Number 3 in the nation, the Cincinnati Bearcats, coming out of the group of 5. They are home versus Central Florida. This potentially is a trap game because UCF is riding high. They're the number 3 team in the land. They're in prime position to jump into the college football playoff top 4 if they can remain undefeated, if they can win impressively, if they can secure their conference title. Then they've got a good UCF team coming into town to spoil the whole thing. I don't think that's going to happen. I think UCF is focused. I think Luke Fickell, their head coach, is not going to let them overlook Central Florida, and it's at home. It's not like they're going on the road to the bounce house in Orlando. It's in Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's good enough that they'll get the win. Go with the number 3 team, the Bearcats. Number 4, Oklahoma, coming off that stunning win against Texas in the Red River Showdown last week, coming down from at one point 3 touchdowns behind to secure the win. They are home once again against TCU. New starting quarterback is in the mix here. Spencer Rattler, their former starter, got benched. I think their new starting quarterback, I can't remember his name offhand. My sincere apologies. I think he's going to give them a boost once again in this game. Go with the Oklahoma Sooners. The now number 5 team in the nation, the Alabama Crimson Tide, coming off that shocking 3-point loss on the road in College Station. They're on the road once again, this time at Mississippi State and the Fighting Mike Leaches. We've seen what happens when Alabama loses or when Alabama doesn't get something that they want. They take it out on the next opponent. And I think they're going to take it out on Mississippi State on the road in Stark Vegas this Saturday. Go with Alabama. Number 6, the Ohio State Buckeyes are on a bye week. Number 7, the Penn State Nittany Lions, coming off that loss that they let Iowa back into. Iowa came back from about 14 points down at one point to win that game. Penn State's on a bye week this week. Number 8, Michigan, coming off the escape of Lincoln. They're on a bye week this week. It's like bye week central this week in top 25 for college football. Number 9, Oregon. They're on a bye week this week. No, I'm just kidding. They're actually playing this week. They're coming off a loss against Stanford. Now they're home against Cal. They lost one of their 2 starting running backs, CJ Verdell. He is done for the season with a lower leg injury. They lost a starting safety. He's out for the season with an injury. That's going to not be good for Oregon's offense, which is a run-heavy offense. They've got 2 good starting running backs. They've got Verdell. They've got Dye, who split the load, although Verdell does run a little bit more. And they've got Anthony Brown Jr., their quarterback, who gets involved in the run game. He is either going to have to, A, get much more involved in the run game, or B, he's going to have to pass the ball more, and somebody's going to have to step up as a receiver or as a tight end to make up for the loss of Verdell. I think they're still going to win this game against Cal because it's at home. Cal is a nice team that can get you if you're not careful. I think Oregon is going to do enough to get this win, but look for those injuries to play a role in decreased offensive production for Oregon going forward this season. But for week 7, go with the Ducks. Number 10, the Michigan State Spartans. They're on the road at Indiana. At Indiana. Indiana has now lost starting quarterback Michael Penix Jr. again for the season. So with a backup quarterback and a team that just isn't that good this year, look for the Spartans to win and win handily in Bloomington. Number 11, the Kentucky Wildcats. I already called them losing to the Georgia Bulldogs. Number 12, Oklahoma State. They're on the road at Texas. I think Texas is angry to a large degree over letting Oklahoma get them in the Red River Showdown. I think they go home. I think they welcome in another top-ranked team, this time a top 15 team in Oklahoma State, and I think they take it out on Okie State and the Cowboys. Go with Texas in this to rebound after a shocking loss the previous week. Number 13, Ole Miss, coming off an absolute barn burner of a game against Arkansas. If you watched that game like I did last week, holy cow, was that a heck of a game. Back and forth, lots of high drama, going for 2 at the end of the game and not getting it, which lets Ole Miss out with a 1-point win. They are at Tennessee. I think Ole Miss gets the win on this one because I think Tennessee is not good enough defensively to stop them. And now that they've got a new starting quarterback because Joe Milton II is out with an injury, I don't think they've got enough offense to hang with Ole Miss, so go with the Running Rebels. Number 14, Notre Dame. They're on a bye this week. Number 15, Coastal Carolina. They're playing on the road at Appy State. It's on a Wednesday, which is weird. Normally, I wouldn't put this in this week's pick videos, but since I'm not going to get my videos done for next Wednesday, I'm going to go with the pick now. And I'm going to go with Coastal Carolina. I'm going to trust quarterback Grayson McCall, who's still completing almost 80% of his passes. Appy State, though, watch this game. I'm going to go with Coastal Carolina, but this game is a trap game, I think. Because Appy State, last week, got their asses absolutely handed to them by the University of Louisiana Monroe. Now they're at home. They're welcoming in a top 25 team. They're welcoming in a top 20 team. They're welcoming in a top 15 team at home the week after they themselves just got blown out. This has the makings of an upset, but I'm still going to put my faith in the Chanticleers on this one, and I think they'll escape from Boone, North Carolina with a win against Appy State. Number 16, Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons are on a bye week this week. I told you it was like bye week central for some reason. Number 17, Arkansas, coming off that close and heartbreaking loss against Ole Miss last week. They are home against Auburn. I think Auburn is the medicine that Arkansas needs to stop this 2-game slide. Arkansas has got a better running game. Arkansas has got a better offense than Auburn. Auburn's defense, I don't think will be able to handle it. And even if they can slow them down, I don't think Auburn has the offense to get anywhere against Arkansas's defense, so go with Arkansas on this one. Number 18, Arizona State. The Sun Devils are at Utah. Utah is not the team that they've been in the last couple years in the Pac-12. I'm going to trust Herm Edwards and his guys to go on the road and get a win, so go with Arizona State. Number 19, BYU, coming off the surprising loss at home to Boise State. I called them to win that game, but I'm still kind of excited that the Boise State Broncos won because you know how much I love Boise State. They are on the road this week against Baylor, so this is a tough game for BYU. My gut's telling me that they'll fix the issues that led to the loss against Boise State and that they'll succeed in going down to Texas and beating the Baylor Bears. This is another one I'm a bit nervous about, though. Going on the road to a good Baylor team, ranked, coming off a loss, Baylor might jump up and bite you in the rear end. I still think, though, that BYU will do what it takes to fix the problems that led to last week's loss, and that they'll get a win coming out of Texas. Number 20, the Florida Gators. They're on the road at LSU. Normally, this would be a game that would cause me some problems, but Florida, I think, is just a better team. LSU has got some problems. They lost at home against Auburn a couple weeks ago. Then they went on the road and got beat pretty badly by Kentucky. I think Florida goes in to Death Valley, and I think they lay the hammer down on LSU, so go with Florida. Number 21, Texas A&M, the Aggies, coming off that stunning win against the number 1 team in the nation, Alabama. They are on the road this week at Missouri. I don't know much about Missouri, but I don't really hear a lot about them, so I'm guessing that they're not a stellar team. I think Texas A&M will be good enough coming off this that they won't let this be a letdown game. This is prime letdown game territory. Not ranked, at home, gigantic win against not only the number 1 team in the nation, but an SEC West opponent. Go on the road to a team that you probably should beat and then drop it. Surprisingly, I don't think Texas A&M does that. I think they build some momentum off of this win, and I think they at least get the win against Mizzou, so go with the Aggies. Number 22, North Carolina State, the Wolfpack. They are traveling north to Chestnut Hill and Boston College. Boston College is a good team. I think they've only got 1 loss on the season. North Carolina State's only got 1 loss on the season. They're hanging out in the top 25, at the bottom of the top 25 because of that win against Clemson. But Clemson's not the same team we thought they were, so that win looks a little bit less impressive. I still think North Carolina State has got enough to go on the road and take down the Eagles, so go with the Wolfpack on that one. Number 23, the SMU Mustangs have a bye week this week, so we'll move to the number 24 team, the San Diego State Aztecs. They are on the road at San Jose State. the defending Mountain West champion San Jose State. I think they're the Knights or something like that. They are only 3-3 this season. The Spartans, San Jose State are the Spartans, somewhat close. They're only 3-3 this season. San Diego State is undefeated. Go with the Aztecs in this one. And finally, I've already said the number 25 team in the nation, the Texas Longhorns. They're going to take their anger at the Oklahoma Sooners out this week on the Oklahoma State Cowboys at home. So go with Texas on that. That does it for the picks for Week 7 for the 2021-2022 college football season. Once again, please be sure to like this video and share it with everyone you know. Also, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and turn on those notifications so that way you'll be alerted to when new videos about history, about college football, or about whatever I'm going to put on here drop. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. I will see you next week.